Hi, I am Dr. Clarence R. Pearson Sr., and welcome to My View, a podcast where I offer my professional perspective on today's most pressing geopolitical and socioeconomic issues. Recently, my attention has been drawn to developments in Liberia as a major U.S. airline Delta imposes cargo embargo on flights from and through Liberia. Here is my view on the matter. The cargo warning at Roberts International Airport, how Liberia can restore aviation integrity before a security crisis becomes economic isolation. The drug seizure at Roberts International Airport has now become more than a criminal investigation. It has become a test of Liberia's aviation credibility, border security, and economic sovereignty. The reported Delta Airlines cargo embargo on Liberia, if fully enforced across connecting freight networks, should be understood less as a diplomatic punishment than as a commercial warning. Airlines move fast when they believe cargo risk has crossed into legal, insurance, and reputational danger. For Liberia, the message is unmistakable. International trust in the country's air cargo chain of custody has been shaken. The crisis follows the interception of roughly 233 kilograms of cocaine, valued at about 19.2 million US dollars at RIA. Liberian lawmakers have since adopted a resolution urging President Joseph Boakai to temporarily suspend GLS Menzies aviation cargo services and express handling services, while investigators examine possible weaknesses in cargo screening, manifest verification, warehouse controls, and chain of custody procedures. GLS Menzies has denied wrongdoing, saying its internal procedures detected the shipment discrepancy, halted the consignment, and escalated the matter. The company says it has cooperated with investigators, provided CCTV footage and cargo documentation, and complied with court issued subpoenas. That distinction matters. A serious investigation must avoid public conviction before evidence is tested. But it must also avoid the opposite danger, protecting systems, companies, or insiders from scrutiny because they are politically connected or economically important. At stake is not only one cargo handler, it is Liberia's main international gateway. Aviation security depends on layered trust. A shipment must be documented, screened, weighed, stored, monitored, and transferred through a verifiable chain. If one layer fails, the others must catch the breach. If several layers are suspected of failure, airlines, insurers, and foreign regulators begin treating the airport itself as a risk. That is why this case is so dangerous. A cocaine shipment allegedly moving through Liberia's principal airport for export does not merely suggest criminal ambition. It suggests that traffickers believe the system could be penetrated. If Liberia responds with delay, denial, or political theater, the consequences could spread quickly. Other airlines may tighten cargo acceptance rules. Exporters of seafood, agricultural products, documents, medicines, and high value commercial goods could face higher costs and longer routes. Importers could suffer delays in medical supplies, technical equipment, and industrial parts. Investors watching the airport as a logistics gateway may begin to see Liberia as a jurisdiction where trade infrastructure is vulnerable to organized crime. The timing is particularly sensitive. Just weeks before this crisis, Liberia and the United States signed a shipwrighter agreement designed to strengthen joint maritime enforcement against illegal fishing, piracy, drug trafficking, and other transnational crimes. The airport seizure now shows why maritime security alone is not enough. Cartels do not respect institutional boundaries. If the sea becomes harder to exploit, they probe the airport. If the airport is tightened, they test land borders. Liberia therefore needs a national transport security doctrine, not a one agency response. The first step should be a credible independent audit of RIA's cargo system. This should cover every stage of the cargo pipeline: acceptance, documentation, weighing, x ray screening, bonded warehousing, CCTV coverage, staff access, airside transfer, and final aircraft loading. The audit should not be conducted solely by agencies that may themselves be part of the chain under review. Liberia should invite technical support from credible international aviation security partners, including the U.S. Transportation Security Administration, ICAO aligned experts and trusted regional counterparts. Second, the government should temporarily separate operational continuity from investigative integrity. Cargo services cannot simply collapse. The economy still needs air freight. But any operator, officer, or unit directly implicated in the investigative chain should be removed from sensitive functions until cleared. That is not punishment, it is risk control. Third, Liberia must modernize cargo screening. RIA cannot rely on paperwork and human discretion in a world where transnational traffickers exploit weak documentation systems. Dual view cargo scanners, trace detection technology, tamper proof CCTV, biometric staff access, and digital cargo logs should become mandatory infrastructure, not luxury upgrades. Fourth, personnel vetting must be treated as seriously as equipment procurement. A modern scanner is useless if the operator is compromised. Customs officers, airport security personnel, cargo handlers, and supervisors assigned to sensitive freight areas should undergo recurring background checks, financial reviews, and, where legally appropriate, integrity testing. Political patronage at strategic border points is no longer just bad governance, it is a national security vulnerability. Fifth, prosecutions must reach beyond the visible courier. Liberia's past drug cases have taught a painful lesson. Seizures without convictions do not deter cartels. The public must see whether investigators can identify financiers, facilitators, documentation handlers, airport insiders, and international receivers. Anything less will reinforce the belief that Liberia catches cargo but loses networks. The Bokai administration now faces a defining choice. It can treat the airport seizure as an embarrassment to be managed or as an institutional warning to be answered with reform. The first path leads towards suspicion, higher trade costs, and possible aviation isolation. The second path could turn RIA into a stronger, more trusted gateway for regional commerce. Liberia does not need to prove that no criminal will ever attempt to misuse its airport. No country can promise that. It must prove something more realistic and more important, that when traffickers test the system detects them, exposes them, prosecutes them, and reforms itself. That is how trust is restored, not by silence, not by blame shifting, not by sacrificing minor actors while protecting powerful ones, only by showing the world that Roberts International Airport is not for sale. My View is a continuing series where I share informed commentary on a wide range of geopolitical and socioeconomic topics. If you found today's discussion helpful, please follow, subscribe, like, and share. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I invite you to explore other My View episodes available online. Until we meet again, goodbye.